So I was going to recap because it sounds to me as if trust, being present, and surrendering are these key ingredients for being able to experience this longer lasting state of joy. And in an earlier conversation with our group of the Self Mastery Program, we were having a conversation of discerning what happiness and deep joy are. And I would describe happiness as moments, and the deep joy are longer lasting feelings that actually are embedded within our cellular bodies, within our cells. That joy continues and grows and evolves. And happiness is one of those ways in which you can bring about and deepen your sense of joy. And so I find, this trust is also so important. And we talked about this on the last episode, is how do we trust our intuition? And I think what I'm hearing, Chris, is that the trust is coming because you've got your own back. Whatever come may be, you're going to be okay. And you are in a safe space because you're connected with your higher self. You believe in yourself. You literally, and I can see it in you as well, that there is this luminosity that's coming out of you that wasn't quite there. It's there, but it wasn't quite there. And it's like falling in love. How many people lack sleep when they first go through their honeymoon phase of falling in love? You can function very well on 2 or 3 hours of sleep because you're just blissed out. Well, there's all these things that happen within our bodies on a chemical level, and the endorphins that rush through. What I'm experiencing through you is the excitement of those endorphins coming in by your choice, and this is a choice of truly committed to what it feels like to love you, to love yourself.
Yeah, I love that, Lisa, because right now, what's one of the biggest reasons why it's so exciting is because it isn't coming from anything external, which means it is infinite, which it's not finite, because in the external, even if you're looking into another person, your partner, for example, in a romantic relationship, if that person is the reason why you're experiencing that deep love, and that's beautiful, of course. However, I've been in that position, and then when you're not with that person anymore, if that indeed happens, or even if you're with them for the rest of your life, in a way, you're putting a lot of pressure on that person and on that relationship if you're relying on them and the relationship to be the cause of your happiness or your deep joy or deep love. And that feeling of, again, especially when you first fall in love, it's all happening because of an external thing. I'm not saying that falling in love with someone isn't a beautiful thing. It's one of the most beautiful things we can experience in this life. But when it comes from internally, when it comes from this journey of self-love, it's arguably for me, I am even, if not on par, more excited now than when I have been falling in love with, my girlfriend, previous partner, whoever. And I've fallen in love multiple times in my life. And, you know, now when it's coming from within, it's almost more exciting because I know this is one here to last because it's me. As long as long as I'm here, it's here. And also it's it feels sustainable, and it feels like, if anything, just imagine what all those external experiences are now going to be like because of where I have what I've have now within myself. Of course, that's going to be mirrored and, if anything, amplified in my external world. And just in the last week since this breakthrough, I've been seeing that, and I've been experiencing that in just micro ways. And wow, talk about exciting, right? Like now the power's within you to do this.
Right, right. And you made me think about how that amplifies the relationships that you are moving in the future to, and your current relationships, how those relationships get impacted. But the fact that you feel such a huge sense of fulfillment just being alone with you. And I know, and I'd love to hear from your own experience in the last several years and those shifts that you've made in that soft self-taught talk, from it being very judgmental into being very self-loving. And I find myself too, oftentimes, if I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got, wrinkles here and you need to put more makeup on, or man, you look really tired today. I will hear myself say those things. And immediately I will turn that and say, you're beautiful. You are wonderful. You're so kind. You deserve to have a great day. What do you need? Like, enough of that. You don't need any of that. You're perfect just the way you are. And that talk does feel very foreign. I mean, always feels foreign to me. It's not like I'm, like, oh, speak to myself like this all the time. But it is so necessary in order to turn the corner. And the work that Chris and I are so committed to always is when we provide the practices to you, listener, that we use ourselves. And these tools and techniques, they work. And they work because we're committed to them. And the journey and the beautiful revelations and the insights that come through when we turn that corner from quieting our minds and hearing the mind chatter that doesn't feel good to being committed and putting our attention on our intention to shift those to loving thoughts within such a quick period of time, change happens. And I think, Chris, you had mentioned this before, but yes, maybe your journey has been over the last 9 years. My journey certainly has been that and longer. But there is a moment that shifts and you can't go back. You just can't go back. You now know too much. And if for some reason you're hearing negative self-talk, it's because you haven't done the practice. You haven't kept it up.